Rama Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare एक ओंकार सतनाम करता पुरख निर्भय निर्वैर अकाल मूरत अजूनी से भंग गुरु प्रसाद सच जुगाद सच
Namaste, welcome everyone to Satsang here in Rishikesh today. Big welcome to everyone. And of course, welcome to all who are joining via broadcasting for today's Satsang. Big welcome for everyone. Okay, good. You, this one, you, yeah, welcome.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste.
Mooji, through your pointings and through your grace and the invitation, I come to realize that I'm looking for is who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And with the beauty of realizing that I am through the invitation, coming through and just, like you say, getting baptized slowly in the heart of knowing, there's still this, I call it a tragedy, that I still don't feel like I realize who I am.
Right. So two different things. That which you say is the realization that you are that,
Mm-hmm.
not just who you are. Does it feel more like a who or a what? I don't know. One moment. But in spite of that, and at the same time also, you may say, there is a contrary feeling that I still feel the full. Could you finish the words, what you say? That you still feel the full force of doubt or personality, or is that what you mean?
Well, there's still this identification that's coming from a personal space that wants to realize who I am.
Okay, it's good now, because in the recognition that takes place, can I check if you can hear at the back also? Raise a hand. Okay, in the recognition that that which really is, always is, unchangingly, a recognition has come that that is what is, and obviously it must be the fundamental truth of what I am.
Yes.
It didn't automatically shut off the play of identity, and we are going to talk a little bit about that. Because as I spoke about, there is the dynamic realm in which consciousness is playing as the person on a journey, discovering this, discovering that, coming and going, relationships, all of that is still there. And all your life, in this body certainly, if not other bodies past, a conditioning has been there that I am this body, I am this person, I am the sum of my, not son, the totality of the conditioning, the belief that I am merely a man, I'm a male body, and all that conditioning and culture that's been received contributes to the conviction I have that I am this person living inside this body. I say this because there may be a belief very strongly that as soon as I realize what I truly am, boom, everything is gone. In some cases, in some beings, in some people, you may say, that realization that is experienced when the invitation is fully flourishing in the heart can blow away the sleep of so many and such a long dream for quite some time. In a rare case, maybe for all time. In many cases, the power and the force and the virility of personal belief gets driven off for some time, and one can be in the experience that I am, but not personal. I'm not even the weakness also. Rare that come. But for many, it will be experienced that here one is beyond the usual concern about personhood and the comings and goings and trying to fix things and become something else. All of that would have thinned away in the powerful recognition of the unchanging self. However, either then, alongside that recognition, or coming in, returning slowly, the reflex comes that this person, something keeps reminding you, you are the person also. So can you be both? Actually, yes. For a time it will feel like the force of conditioning, the momentum of conditioning will keep on bringing up the sense of the I, but it will be different. It will not be such a powerful conviction. It will be more that you feel caught by it than you are it. And it will feel that somehow my mind is sometimes even more strong. It is as though some aspect of our conditioned identity has become more loud, as though it wants to sink the conviction of what you have come to see. So this is why sometimes when people have come to a very powerful and profound opening or recognition, I sometimes say the storm is coming, meaning the mind somehow will appear as though it is your enemy to shut down something or to remind you of your person very strongly. I said, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. If you can, as much as possible, the significant thing here is that you have come to a recognition of your impersonal self. And that is profound. It will take some time to stabilize in the grounding of that, to get grounded in that. So from time to time, the personality will seem to come up and there's more things to remind you you're a person for a bit. But remember that I told you this. And that there's never been one who has awakened to the truth of themselves that have not experienced this, a kind of backlash from the mind. It will come. All that we have learned, all that we have absorbed in our personal life mode, you see, it starts to come up. In a sense, it's coming to the surface to be released from, you see. But there is a kind of reflex to create or to reform a relationship with that identity. And that will feel a bit strong for some people, not everyone, for a while. But you stay with it and recognize, but this also can be seen. Don't take it that the strength or the force of that personal identity, energy, means that it's that true. It's not. It means that it's coming with force. But that in which it is seen, that is not aggressive. It is still and stable. But when the mind and the mind energy is pulsating, by habit, you see, attention has gone to that, always go to that, and in that pulsation, the conviction that I'm this person with all these problems also come. But I say, still try to recognize that is also a mode or a play of the mind that will pass. The background, which is the self, does not pass. And stay with it, don't give up. And gradually you'll see a very powerful focus and stabilizing is happening inside you. You see, earn it, earn yourself, win yourself back. Don't think that somehow now I've seen and wow, why should that come? Even to try and dismiss and to say that the world in which I appear as a person is all unreal and no, don't take that attitude. It is a divine dream also. Why I stress that you must discover fully the truth of yourself, the unchanging, is that in recognizing that truth, the truth of yourself, will automatically bless all your functioning in your dynamic expression. You see? Yeah. It is not that you wake up totally to Buddha nature and then all that's gone before it just vanishes. It weakens because the strength of personal identity that supports that way of life is returning to the heart again. So by and by, day by day, you will be growing in strength. Strength means not to rush back into personal identity, to remain as the witnessing consciousness, you may say, or the neutrality of that space of self. You can relate to what I'm speaking? Okay, like that. So it may go on for a bit, but you, for the first time, you may start to feel the unreality of it. Maybe in the instant, you're a bit dazed by it, and somehow you come back into shape. Because when you awaken to the true self, it's as though you are not living as a shape anymore. You're like the infinite space. But it's not just space like this. It is the source intelligence, spirit being itself. You see? So there is this play like a duality between that which is stable and that which is dynamic. You have lived in the dynamic identity for a long time, but gradually you'll see who is the one who truly lives here. You see, for a long time we took it to be personal, but you'll see that it is really the sense I am, which is conscious presence. This one is the experiencer of the waking state life, the dynamic life. And gradually, you will see that even this beautiful state of presence is being absorbed in the infinite self. Nothing to be afraid of. In fact, this is your greatest joy. It is not an event in itself. The self is not an event. If there's an event, it is like the recognizing of the eternal truth you are. This is why in the invitation, when I ask, you are recognizing this now, but where has it been all your life? The overwhelming response is, it has always been here, but I was not aware of it. The very essence of the realization of the self is that it is always here, but you, the present idea you think you are, has not been aware of it because you have had a conviction that you are a person, which is also a form of consciousness, but a very limiting form of consciousness. You see? You will see gradually, day by day, this play of personhood, and the emails are coming in and this thing has to be done, and someone says something and your feelings feel hurt, and it feels quite different from the recognition of the self. But gradually you come to see, but all these are like shadows, they are like clouds passing. You are not passing. This is the important thing. You are the witness of the coming and the going of sensation, the traffic of sensation and thoughts, feelings. All these arise. It's as though they are rising, and it's almost there's an attraction to pull the formless into form. And if it goes into form, it's almost always personal. And the personal now begins to feel very cramped, very claustrophobic. You have tasted the infinite. Now that becomes your new climate. To be squeezed back into the shape, the small shape of personhood, something begins to resist that. And that is also part of the dynamics of being released. A yearning, a desire to be free from the limitation of personhood is also important in you, that aspiration. So grace is flowing. It's sieving out what is not true. And it may take time. Paradoxically, it takes some time to wake up to the timeless. It takes time to fully realize the timeless. This period of transition, you see, where the sense of you will at times feel totally empty, fully complete. To be fully yourself doesn't mean that you're like this, nothing to do. No, activities happen naturally, but you're not sucked into them. It's not that they are chaotic, the activities. They are more refined, in fact. You are more present with them. So this idea that you will dismiss the world is not true. You will see that the world is also just the dynamic aspect of the Eternal One. And something is care. The expression of love, of compassion, of understanding, of even awakening is in the field of what we call the Saguna Brahman, which is the dynamic and diversified field. But you will function inside that as a unity, as a harmony. Yeah, this thing.
Thank you so much.
Yes. It will turn out that at some point, what may seem to be obstacles, inauspiciousness, your being will begin to convert all of them into grace. You'll use all of these things. They begin to become like compass, spiritual compass for you. This is the amazing thing. As I said, the wise man builds a house with the stones his enemies throw at him and lives happily in this house. Meaning, things that were once felt like they are attacking, oh, why is this so difficult for me, is only because we were still carrying a certain strength of personal belief in us. And that is what's being attacked, you see. But as you somehow begin to experience that everything is arising in a kind of emptiness, and in this emptiness, you're perfectly happy, you see. As that becomes more and more, you will see that the seeming obstacles, you need them. The tests, you need them to refine and strengthen your powers of discernment. And everything seems like everything is here to support your awakening. This is the power.
Yes.
Very good.
Thank you so much. I love you so much.
Love you, same. Love you with the same love. Okay, someone. Okay, come, land up. You choose.
My beloved Master, I'm so glad to be here. I want to talk about the storm you just talked about because I've experienced it. It was such a storm.
Yes.
I didn't want to have nothing to do with you anymore.
That is a part of it, that the one who is helping you to point out the way to freedom, it will try to turn you against this one, because if it turns you against this one, you're gone. You see? It works like that.
But every day I was listening to you, I didn't want to listen to you anymore. I said, I'm going to look for another master. And I just turned on my laptop, and there was a video. You're the one that wins yourself back. And I start listening, and while listening, and you were saying, don't go now, not now. Go in the beginning, but not now. I was saying to you, making trouble with you, no, I'm not coming back. And that's go on for nearly 2 weeks. Going out, go in my garden, be with my vegetables, and going in back, put on the laptop, there were you again with not now. Don't go now. And in that moment, I was there. I could experience it, not feel it. I was there, and if something fell off of me. And I was 3 days in my house, still enjoying and enjoying.
Yes.
And then I said, no, I must come to India. It seems that like everything was going very smooth. But when I was in the plane from Amsterdam to Delhi, arriving Delhi, I couldn't go further. The people tell me, you can't go on board because we don't have your name, nothing in our computer. But I had everything in my phone, so I showed him. He said, no, you can't go on board. Normally, I would start talking and talking, but I was very still. And the people around me, they were talking. And I just stand still. When everybody was gone, he just looked at me and said, you know what? I'm going to look for you. And he did that. And when everything was okay, I was in the business class. I was in the business lounge. And my last plane, when I get off the plane, somebody was standing with my name because I wanted to be the first day here. And he told me, we putting you on another plane so that you can be early where you have to be. I didn't know how they know that I have to be somewhere. But I arrived, it was late, coming here at the gate. They didn't want me to let me in. I said, I have to go in. No, you can't go in. It is the end. Moojibaba is finishing his speech. I said, but I have to be in. And I stand again, very calm. Then he said, you know what, I'm coming. He go inside, he come back, he said, go in. I'm very happy, Master, thank you.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love you so much.
I am happy that you share these things because for many people experience similar things. Some struggle, some tests to come, and sometimes the very a side of our nature come up in resistance, and even can go that they turn against you completely if you don't watch out. Something just switches and go in the wrong way, and then the people, they start to say bad things even like that. So that it worked out like that for you, that you went through that test in some way and you came out. You see that once you go through, you didn't give up, something helped you to come, and you choose, and then the power comes to take you. Your unseen forces come to take you home. Sometimes we have to go through that. Don't expect everything to come so easy. Some power come, and then that power coming shows you, yes, something is taken care of you. Something is taken care of you. So, when these energies come sometimes, because to take a human form and to live in this house with these senses and the mind and the power to imagine and to become attached and to like this, it takes something to live in this house. We easily become attached to it, attached to the senses and so on. So at some point, as you are discovering the true self, the mind will tell you you're going to lose all the things you enjoy. You have to sacrifice everything you enjoy. I said, this is not true. It is not true. What will happen, even if there's addictions, I will not tell you, sort out your addictions first before you can come into my house. I said, come into my house as you are. Let's see how you live. You see? First come and you will experience that something is inside you that wants to come home, and that there's a power which will help you to awaken to your true nature. After this, you feel the power, then you can begin to take on those energies that seem to want to distract you or something like that. Don't worry. So I'm happy you share this, and so others can look, say, yeah, actually I've experienced these things. Everybody who I think come to satsang experience a period they hate me. Some people go, no, okay. So one or two don't, but you have something inside is like fighting to almost keep us in the state of personhood. And there's also the energy to elevate the consciousness to come home, you see. So these forces, these seemingly contrary forces, are all, Paramatman designed the universe like that it would work like this to develop the aspiration to win yourself back and send you the grace to give the necessary encouragement spiritually for you to make higher choices, you see, like that. So, thank you. Very good, very good. Somebody over here want to come? Who? Okay, come then, come, move and see what you're saying.
Hello.
Hello.
So I've been really facing all these forces you talk about, but still haven't overcome them. And I need to overcome them.
What it means to overcome? What would it mean to overcome them? You say, I've been experiencing many of these forces that come. I think anyone who sets out on the journey of self-discovery will experience these challenges. Some, they give up very early. Others, they persevere. Sometimes people give up for a while and they come back. So you were saying that, I don't know if you were asking the question or you were making a statement that you must overcome them.
Well, I want to see if I could take a step now towards overcoming them.
Okay. Good. There's two ways. The traditional way is that how can I overcome these forces that seem to be so old in me? How I can overcome them? I will point out something. You can try to overcome them with your present idea of who you are, which is helping to sustain, actually, these forces themselves. The idea we have of ourselves, which is personal, is the only thing that these energies can attack. They succeed when they get you to respond personally. Because although the person is a form of consciousness, it is the weakest aspect of consciousness. When you become personal, these forces can intimidate you, they can threaten you, but they cannot threaten your true self. So what is easier? To fight them while you're in the mode of personhood, which makes it easy for them to attack, or that you discover the truth of yourself and you're out of reach of them. Which would be easier, I see. I say, I rather put the energy on discovering who you are, because that is already in place. Who you are, you're not going to develop, you're not going to create, you're not going to make it, you're going to discover it. So it means that when we discover the truth, you did not create it. If you had created it, maybe you could be proud and say, yes, look, I created. But the fact is that you simply discovered it. So what prevents you from discovering it? You see? You say, now, I want to make some steps today. I am with you. I want to see what I can do today to get beyond these energies pulling me back into a state of negativity and sorrow. And watch what's going to happen now then. Watch what's going to happen now. I say that these things, whenever these forces come in you, whatever effects they have, watch and see if it's not because you became personal. How are they strong? What do they say for them to feel strong to you? How do they come? Let's all hear from you.
They talk about my body.
Huh?
They talk about my body.
Yeah, personal. Meaning, you're getting sick and or you're not going to be able to do this and so, and if you do this. So it's really connected with your body can become very bad and then eventually you might lose it, which means that you die or something. It's talking like that. Tell me something else that they say.
It's about the way I carry the body, and through my movements, it keeps me stuck in a certain way of acting and.
Yeah. Keep who stuck? We have to slow down now. Who is stuck? It is not your true self that is stuck. It is your identity, your self-image, the idea you have of who you are can get stuck. Right. It is not real, but you will experience it like that. Who you think you are, whatever idea you have about yourself at the present moment, these energies will speak to you from that identity that you're holding. You're not doing very well, you're not doing it properly, and this you automatically assume is this person, which is the idea you have of who you are. We keep on outgrowing our personalities modes of personality all the time. You change a different way, you try different ways. These keep changing. None of it is stable. Tell me another thing.
I'm living from what you're saying now, from my identity, but that's all I know.
Yeah. Well, first of all, you know your identity, so you cannot be your identity. You know it. You're aware of identity, you're aware of body, you are aware of senses, not just you, particularly all. Even a mosquito is aware it exists. He knows the sound is not him. He knows I make this sound to annoy them, no, or whatever. But he knows I'm not that. It's not that. You have feelings, you have thoughts. You can observe them. You can observe their change. You can observe their strength. You can observe that they are coming up. You can observe when they are present, and you observe when they go. You cannot be them, because if you were them, when they go, you would also be gone. But you're the one who says, okay, now it's gone. So how can you be them? You're experiencing them, you're observing them, experience their presence energetically, but you are the witness of them, and there is a difference. You cannot be fundamentally what you are seeing, what you are experiencing. These are sensations, their thoughts, their feelings, the emotions, memory. All these things are coming like waves, they come and go. I say sometimes like clouds, they come and they go. You are the witness of them. This is a very important pointing, that you are observing these. What is the trouble is that when they arise like this, you log into them, which means you identify with them. Because these thoughts that keep coming, these feelings keep coming, they seem like they're coming for you particularly. Why? Because they have come before and they've received 5-star service. So they come again, they know they can count on you. You will definitely entertain them. You see? And even the you who is attached to them is also observable. If you can give a little attention to this, to the point where it becomes clear, your world space is going to open up. You will experience that change from the state of person to presence. Presence is more capable of witnessing. When I gave example of these 2 birds in the tree, if you remember that one was the dynamic activity, building a nest, creating a life, planning for the future. And then I said on a branch in the same tree is a bird that looks identical, but this bird is not building anything, it just quietly observes. And that this second bird is actually inside the first bird, meaning that within the same dynamic activity, there is an ability in you to simply observe with detachment. With detachment mean without identity, simply looking. It will take a little while to really stabilize in that understanding, but it is worth so much, it is so powerful. And there are people here also who are discovering that, and some have fully discovered that these are just sensations. They are not anymore pulled away when they go. They don't feel, oh, I'm carried off by these sensations. So when they are here also, they don't give too much importance now to them. It's when you have a strong belief in your own sense of personhood, then somehow your relationship with these forces feel more sticky. The more you are witnessing with detachment, at some point you'll come to see that you have been giving a lot of energy to the traffic, talking about the story of the traffic is coming and this is happening, this is happening. But I say, but you are witnessing these. Pay attention also to the witnessing ability. And gradually you begin to become naturally aware of your witnessing place. As soon as you become aware that you are the one watching all this traffic is coming and going, you come to see that something here is not coming and going. It is stable. When you come to see this, the sense of personhood is already feeling a bit distant. Like sometime in the daytime when the sun is out, sometimes you can see the moon also. But nobody's interested in the moon when the sun is here. And nobody's disturbed by it. Nobody's attracted to it. In the same way, the moon mind, it's as though it recedes and its influence is weakened as you are becoming more aware of what you are as just the witnessing energy. You are not so fixed in the body like I am this person, and a much lighter mode of consciousness. And naturally, because of the spaciousness, because of the peace that shows when you're not involved in the traffic of mental projections and the state of personhood, the peace you begin to experience, the silence and the quiet joy emerging in you, means that you become increasingly attracted to this. You want to be here. Because now, especially having tasted it, really tasted it, then you are losing the taste and the attraction for the old state. Now you're seeing it now, and then people begin to say like, I don't want this old identity. I don't want to get involved in that. Although it comes and it seems like it sticks onto me, I don't want it. That is already an evolution. That's already a maturing. Because once upon a time, you did not even know that this thing is not working on behalf of your freedom. Now you are aware of it. On from here, even the place of witnessing, which is now becoming a joy for you, spacious for you, silent for you, naturally attractive for you. You see? When you are in the place of simply just observing, but with detachment, you're already in a place of joy and peace. You've crossed over from death to life. But a jnani, an awakened being, comes eventually to see that even this place of witnessing is also witnessable. That also becomes phenomenal for them. I don't want to speak about this too early, because some people, they're smart, they go, oh, if that's a middle stage, I want to go to the end. But I say, no, it is important to recognize and to experience and to stabilize in the place of the I am or conscious presence. That's very important. Finish off, become totally comfortable in the knowing that all this traffic, it's there, but it's changing because you are no longer living within the mode of personhood. And then this is the one who, if this is all a dream, at least you are awake in your dream. You don't even are telling people it's a dream, it's a dream. You also, your presence also, is radiating influence, positive spiritual influence to other beings around you, even without trying. Because very few people are meeting a truly peaceful human being, a truly happy one, not momentarily happy, but just happy by nature, peaceful, kind, open, fearless. It has become for us like a myth that this is a mythological being. But everyone has this completeness in them. Realization of the self is only awakening to what you have always been, being conscious of what you cannot not be, but are not presently aware of it. So it's not in the traditional way, it's like we are trying to learn and build more and more and more. Whereas here, somehow, the false is falling away. The truth need not come because it is already here. It is being, you may say, unveiled. You can say like that. So now back to this moment with you. Where has that reached in you? What I've just spoken, you see? Because you say now, these energies, they come and they seem to have a power to capture my attention, and when my attention is in them, then I cannot confirm what you're saying. It's as though you're in a state of hypnosis. But even if you were in a state of hypnosis, that state is also observable and perceivable. So whoever it is that is hypnotized is not fundamentally you, if you're able to be aware of it. When you practice and really think and watch what my words are saying, you will come naturally to the conviction that, I gave so much energy to things which are only believed. They're not true, they're not a fact. I have given so much power to fiction and not realized the fact. There's a fact here. You must realize what this fact is. Otherwise, we are only talking fiction. What you believe, what you think, what you imagine, what you dream. But who you are, what you are. Can what you are be hidden from itself? It can only be hidden from the idea you have of who you are. The self cannot hide from itself. You can say in its game, in the game of appearing to be other than itself, it kind of forgets itself. I once said, and it is still relevant, I said, I am, before the idea that I could forget myself or that I need to remember myself was believed. Again, I am, before the idea came that I could forget myself or that I need to remember myself was believed. Our belief that we are this person, that we are our conditioning alone, and that is a fact. We believe that is the fact. So in our entire human kingdom, very few people challenge that assumption. I'm calling assumption. Very few. It's like the universal currencies that we all take ourselves to be our body and our conditioning. I'm saying, but the body and conditioning are perceivable. By what are they perceivable? I don't want just a mental or verbal answer. The fact is that they are perceivable, so whatever is perceiving them must be subtler than them. Would you not agree? Can you not see this thing? Now for you to find out what that is. The fact goes already before the proof. Now you must prove it. The fact is you can see, your body you can see, you can feel also, and your beliefs also you can feel, you can see them. Sometimes you change your belief, you change your thinking. That is also observable. So if they are observable, what is observing them? Are they observing themselves, or must be something subtler is observing them? Find out what this subtler thing is. Where is it? The fact is, you can observe them. Do it now also. Some feelings come, some thoughts come like, I don't know this is not true, and so on and so on. They're just thoughts. What makes them more strong in one body than in another body? the strength of belief in them. A thought without belief has no power. A thought with belief can cause a lot of trouble, a lot of division, start a war even. Belief. And even the act of believing also is perceivable. Does it not mean something, what I'm speaking? Does it not mean something? That we are not talking about absolutes, but relative things, apparent, changeful, unstable. Has there been anything that has come to you that has come and stayed? Don't they come and go or change? How can you call any of those things reliable? Including the idea you have of yourself also came. To whom am I speaking? Who hears what I'm speaking? It's good. Sometimes your mind itself goes into kind of like sleeping mode when it comes to things like this. Sometimes the mind also goes into drowsy mode. Shop is closed. So effectively, what is being spoken does not go in. This is part of the mechanism of the psychological identity. It is as though something in you does not want you to wake up. It is as though some force functioning inside does not want you to discover the truth of yourself. But I'm going to tell you something about this force also. It is as old as mankind. And it is that what you truly are, you can never not be. And because that is perfect in itself, we are put in the realm of the seeming imperfect. It is only the perfect exist, even playing the imperfect. This is called the Lila of God. Maya Shakti is dancing. For whom is she dancing? When even the one you think you are is inside the dance. Is there truly that which in front of whom all this is appearing and disappearing and is perceived even without effort? This you must wake up to. That all of this, there are some sensations which are so subtle that there are no names for them. There are no words for them. But they are appearing in consciousness. What is it that witnessed them? That perceives them without effort even? As you begin to pay attention to that which even sees attention, the whole superstructure of false beliefs begin to collapse right here. And what remain, I don't want to tell you what remain. I want you to feel it and find it. And you don't have to go north or south or west or east for that. Why? Because actually the infinite self is in you. But you being what? When I say it's in you, automatically you think of your body. Oh, it's inside the body. But even this body is in you as consciousness. It's too much? Thank you. So say again what you when you came up first. Now, what is the problem with you? What happens? Can't remember? Or paralyzed?
I don't want to say it.
Huh?
I don't want to talk about it.
You being what? You being what that doesn't want to talk about it?
That which sees it, but it just feels like I see it from like this space, but I still feel like I'm not the space.
You see it from this space, but something says, but I'm not the space.
And it's persistent and it
Yes.
doesn't give up ever.
Why does this voice that says, but I am not the space, why is this not just a thought appearing in the space?
Because it has like, carries a force and it is always guiding me.
It carries the force of the one who believes in it also. You see? Quickly, we accept this as a fact that, it hasn't gone away. I want this feeling to go away. And it's going, I am not going anywhere. You say you are the space, be the space, but I'm here, I'm not going anywhere. And something going, oh, actually I can't really be the space because this feeling is still here. Who was here first, you or the feeling?
It seems more natural than the feeling, but the feeling is overwhelming.
The feeling has got your attention. The feeling feels overwhelming. What does overwhelming mean? Can the feeling be so overwhelming that it gets rid of you?
No.
Can the witness be true if it is involved in the crime scene? Let's imagine that, I gave a similar example, that a man is standing on the side of a road waiting for the traffic to stop, slow down, or the road to be clear to cross the road. And then a car is coming around the corner, another car is coming this way, and they smash. One red car, one white car, like this. And then he's standing there seeing all of this, and then a woman came out of the white car with an umbrella and hit the driver of the red car on the head. And then the driver who got hit started to choke her on the street, and she's shouting, and he's looking, and then another man ran from a bicycle across, jumped on both of them, they start to fight, okay? And then somehow everything goes to court. And the judge says, can the witness please come? Witness, stand up there. You are the witness to this scene? Yes, I am, Your Honor. I am, yes. What happened? I was standing on the corner, I saw this red car coming, turning the road, and a white car coming up this way, and they bumped into each other. And then what happened? Then the woman came out from the white car with an umbrella, and she hit the man who was driving the red car on the head. Then what happened? Then the man started to choke her, and then what happened? She was kind of trying to spit on him, okay? And then what happened? Then the man came off a bicycle across the road and jumped into the whole thing, and they all started to fight. And then what happened? Well, I just couldn't bear it, Your Honor. So I jumped in myself. And whoa, excuse me, whoa. But you are a witness. Now you are part of the crime scene. Now you can be witness. You became involved in that. You cannot be a witness anymore. Is there another witness? Yes, there's another second witness. Yes. The story is true right up until this one who was witnessing jumped into it. And where were you? I was across the road looking at all of that. I was just having a beer. drinking, you know. And then when he jumped in, I thought, no, this is too much. This is too much. There's one lady and there's three guys are fighting and we don't know who. And then, so you got involved? No, I didn't get involved. And then what happened? And then I recognized the lady's my auntie. And I just couldn't, I ran over there with my beer. I was drinking on the way. And then what happened? Then I took the empty glass and I hit this man. Then what happened? But he's not a witness also. He's partial witness. So how can you be a witness if you get involved in the thing? The witnessing means that which is present, no? And is aware. How long you can stay witness? Until something comes up inside you that is so strong in its impact and its flavor that you forfeit your witnessing and you get involved in it. And to that extent, you are not witnessing anymore. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is it possible? As long as there's a you who is witnessing, and this you is personal, your witnessing is not impersonal. Who gets it? No? As long as you who are witnessing are personal, your witnessing is not impersonal, you see. So as something is able at some point to see that even this witness until now is also got some personal, subtle personal characteristics in it. That which witnesses this at least is more pure. You go like this, you stay like that. Don't worry about, but this thing coming back and so on. It doesn't really matter so much. The more powerful than that is that all of this is perceivable. You may say, but at some point, how can I stay out of it? And I says, but even the one who is saying, how can I stay out of it, is also witnessable. Is it possible? It may feel very, very difficult at some point. You may say, I can't stop biting my nails. But biting my nails is also watched also by something that doesn't have any nails to bite. This is all that the old yogis, they were looking neti. It's not this one. Previously, I was identified with that position. Then I say that position also is localized, it's also personal. What saw this? Immediately a greater space was opened like that. And just like that. But if you say, but why does this keep coming? I say, why you get involved? Whatever come is going. Stay with it. You may have to feel like you failed at some point, but you stay back on. You come again, you stay. And it gets stronger and stronger, clearer and clearer, until at some point you see that the whole play. Do you know that there are some beings who came to a place where they see that the entire waking state consciousness, the one who is experiencing it, the thing that is being experienced, and the very function of experiencing are all the one content of the waking state consciousness, and they are observing that. Now you may say, but isn't part of our responsibility to get involved and to make the world a better place and so? You may have that sentiment, and to that extent you may get involved and so on, but you will not reach this place yet. Every action is gradually promising to go to a higher place. It will just probably take you a bit longer when you see that you have the power to dream big, but you may not have the power to make your dream come true in the way you think. And there's another one who sees that, wait a second, by observing, I'm observing that life is taking care of life somehow. Why was this not seen before? Because the one I took myself to be was too emotionally involved, was too impatient, and was acting always prematurely, too quickly. So they never had the chance to, never gave themselves the chance, or was taught to observe to the place where they came to see, left by itself, many things just work themselves out. You're pulling your parachute open too early in the plane. Boom. You know, you're not out of the plane. Some people pulling parachute open on the ground because the mind is going, no, something, panic, whoa, and acting prematurely because of an idea or a conditioning that life is always on the verge of some chaos. Act quickly to avoid this. That's a very costly concept. We have to learn to observe more with detachment in order to witness what is the harmony that sustains this universe. It's not you, not this personal sense of yourself. And the fullness of yourself is already a harmony. But the strength of our present identity as a person is not harmonious. Through meditation, many things have come to be understood that even science cannot prove. Even science cannot prove it, hasn't proved. In fact, I don't know when it was discovered that the world was round, but actually, meditators in this country centuries and centuries ago knew it through meditation. When in the Western world we think it was like as flat as a chapati. So many things that we think can only be proven scientifically, others knew by introspection and by meditation they came. There are many, many fascinating things you can say that if you look towards you'll find that using the mind to study things is not the only way, and actually not the best way even. I don't want to deviate from the subject. You are the subject. Are you in a place of resolution, or still there's some chatter going on that gets your attention? You can say.
It feels it's not possible. I should give up, and
it feels it's not possible to
feel good all the time.
To feel
good all the time.
Yes. Is that what the pure consciousness is saying, or somebody is saying?
It must be somebody.
Yes. Nobody can feel good all the time. In fact, let me change it. Only nobody can feel good all the time. Somebody cannot feel good all the time. And even to use these terms, feeling good, is a lesser terminology. That's a thought, you see. You are still suffering from the strength of belief in certain ideas, certain concepts, which are still very active because of the identity. If the identity subsides into a deeper seeing, those present convictions, they will also thin away. It's not just about feeling good, but the one who wants to feel good is also a kind of, fundamentally, a kind of thought construct. It's the idea you have. You pay a lot of attention to feelings and emotions and so on. Gradually, though they will still play a part, they will not have such a captivating or virile influence in you anymore. Speak.
Okay. I really want to be free all the time. It's
Actually, you are free timelessly. But the you place that you're speaking from is not stable. You will say, I want to be free all the time. And then in another 10 minutes, you want to go and have some lunch or something like this. Your feelings will keep changing. It is not stable. Is this voice reliable, you see?
no.
No. How do you come to know it's not reliable?
Through the ability to know.
Yes, because you can observe it. Sometimes speaks like this, sometimes speaks like that. A deeper consciousness, which seems like apparently hidden or not yet discovered, is already yielding, it's already showing that the ability is there to know that this place of speaking is not stable. How can you identify with such a place that is really not stable? This is why we will not be happy just being a person, because the person is not a stable state of consciousness. Then you say, yes, I can see my instability. From where are you looking, and as what are you looking to see that? Does it seem too remote what I'm speaking, or too mental? Because I think it's very, very here, very practical.
The identity feels, it feels stable, like that force and that energy, although it goes up and down, that energy is always there, it's always around. It feels like it doesn't want to...
That which notices it comes and goes, that which notices these energies come and go, does that come and go?
No, the noticing does not come and go.
Pay attention to the noticing then. Now, just try and see, just from the place where this is noticed, that gives the power to notice things, what is really here? Don't go into any thought, just look now and see.
I feel lost.
Even a sense of lost is perceived. It will soon give way to another feeling. It's nothing at all. They're nothing at all. They only become something because you believe them, and you believe them into existence, and they become your experience. Now you have to believe a contrary concept to neutralize that concept.
So when you talk about the is-ness, it feels like I can see it. Like sometimes it's more like space where you can't see it, but it's there. But I'm just...
The very fact that you can perceive or see arises in the is-ness you speak about. You are. Subsequent to that...
It's not solid, is it?
It is solid in the sense that it is unchanging.
So every time I'm coming to that realization, I feel like I find something solid.
Yes.
And then I'm like, oh,
you find something solid, but you are not solid. You, the one who is journeying, think, I come to something solid. The relative is trying to capture the absolute. The conviction, your standpoint, is still the standpoint of the journeyer, no?
But I can't find my standpoint either.
The standpoint is that the one who is traveling towards the self is known.
But the self is here now, so...
Yes. Talking?
It's talking?
Not directly. It causes talking to happen when it wishes to continue some dreaming. The talking is happening in the self. The non-talking is happening in the self. The self is neither talking directly nor not talking. It's just here. You say the self is here, but there's no real conviction. It's just like a thought itself now, a thought. But that thought itself is appearing in the self. There cannot be any power to perceive, to think, to feel, to taste, to measure, to know, if the self is not there already. The self is that which manifests as the dynamic consciousness. The dynamic consciousness must return to the self itself. The self cannot be an object that can be perceived. Yet it is known directly. It appears to be a riddle because your standpoint at the moment is in the one trying to understand the self. The one trying to understand the self is an appearance in the self which perceives it. When I said to you the other day that St. Francis of Assisi says, what, in terms of searching for truth, what you are searching for is already where you're searching from. And I elaborated by saying, what is searching and what it is searching for is arising, that which is searching for is already here, in which the one searching for it is seen. That's a direct pointing. You have to do nothing at all to see this, except it is seen or not seen. God, Paramatman, made this riddle, but it's only a riddle for those who are identified, and for those who see it is not a riddle at all. It is the most natural thing. You're going to come and say, ha ha ha, Guruji, thank you. You're going to do it. Presently, you cannot perceive the self with the instrument of the senses or the mind. They are themselves seen. You think that that's a parable or some mystery, but it is obvious to you, but it's not obvious yet. So, a thing is not obvious until it's obvious. Like that. Now, mind will come and say, it's impossible. You're wasting your time here. There's nice chai across the road, and there's another satsang across the river. Okay? It can come like this. Because it will sometimes come with some frustration. I don't know. I don't get what he's speaking. This I itself is false. Where is the true? Right there, where this I is arising, is the true. Who perceives that there's tremendous identification with the very I am taking myself to be. Who is taking myself to be? I consciousness have taken myself to be my belief, which is itself a function in me. Sorry, the words are coming out like that at the moment. Okay, you go and sit down and let's see, give your mind rest a little bit, and then we
Thank
see.
you.
Yeah, I'm going to continue talking about it, but you sit down. I want to say before he speaks, what I'm sharing, what I'm pointing to, is the only thing you need to find. I am not sharing something with you, I'm not giving you a tool that you can use for other things to solve other mysteries. What I'm pointing to is the source of all mysteries, in fact. I'd put it to be the highest discovery, the most profound in the human kingdom, and the simplest. If it feels complex because, as I said before, the truth is, you may say, is simple, but the seeker is complex. Because the seeker's got a lot of background, identification with the false, I've absorbed so many ideas and identities about itself. It is already corrupt. It's already distorted and easily distracted. And yet the core of you is the pure self. And that has to be unveiled or unmasked. Satsang is only this. A change of understanding. I cannot give the self to you. I can only help to remove the false self. Okay, go.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste. Namaste.
Is there a permanent end to seeking? And if so, do we choose when it ends?
No, you don't choose when it ends. But you may have a play in choosing that it continue until it end. And it does end. The seeking is very important. More important than the seeker. The seeking is alive. It's the seeking. When the seeking or the seeker finds what it's searching for, the seeker vanishes and is no more. As well as the seeking also ends. It doesn't become a finder. It simply becomes itself, which is not a seeker. A seeker is the instrument, the mode, the necessary urge that comes through grace when the self or the consciousness or the beingness has an urge to discover its own source. That has to be already in you, why you can come here and sit for more than 1 or 2 days. But there are forces also apparently contradictory, contrasting forces from the mind that is to do with the sense of our person, and sometimes the addiction to personhood, which is only a state, whereas our true state is without addiction. It is pure. Does it come to an end? Yes, it comes to an end. It comes to an end which has no end or beginning. It can come to an end right here. For some people today, it can come to an end. The doubt can fall away. The seeing can, the recognition can happen. But sometimes, even after the happening of a recognition, the doubts can come still. But in the light of the recognition, the doubts will have little conviction in you. They will begin to fall away gradually. And there will be a seeming experiential increase in your stability and power. I'm not speaking here about religion or even spirituality in a kind of just truth. So therefore everyone can understand, in fact. The conviction in the state of personhood appears to stand in its own way, but only appear. Everything is a great appearing, a great seeming. Say.
I just wanted to make sure that I don't also get addicted to the identity of seeking as well.
If your seeking is earnest, you will not fall for such a state. Just like when you're hungry, you might try tasting some of the food. Somebody might give you some toasted cardboard or something. But you're not going to get addicted to that. When you find good food, you go, thank you. And that you'll eat. Don't worry, you will not become addicted to what is false. It's already enough of what is false brought you to the search for what is true. Your seeking, actually, is not such a unique private seeking. It's a movement from the entire universe. Just like a wave. A wave cannot decide, guys, I think I'm going to go this way instead today. I'll catch you later. It cannot. Every movement of each wave has the total ocean behind it. Your wishing to wake up is a universal movement. It may sound huge or mean that you're not independent. Because we think in terms of personhood, you think you can be forgotten or overlooked. But even in the state of personhood, you're so totally enmeshed in the matrix of the cosmic manifestation. You cannot be forgotten. You forget yourself, but only by taking on a shape that we were compelled to, by the way. It's not, you didn't do anything wrong. All the beings, just like all the beings who live in the ocean are wet. All the beings who come into manifestation are conditioned for a while. Otherwise, the game could not happen. And the game is a game of transcendence, of looking and learning and paying attention. And sometimes moving very slowly, sometimes appearing to be stagnating, another time moving rapidly, another time totally beyond movement.
Thank you.
Yes, but now you're here now, you know. Have your best shot. Let's have a go and see what. Why not today? Let's have a look. Maybe not today, but why not?
If I can't choose, then I just have to wait or look, correct? If I can't choose when it happens, I can only...
But even then to look is also choosing. You can call. Some urge is there, something inside you universally, some urge is there to look for this. Otherwise, there are so many things to see in our world that to look for that which cannot be seen with the eyes is a rare thing. Everybody's looking for something that they can hold and touch and smell and enjoy through the senses or the mind. But this you cannot. This is before all these things. If you remove all these things and the memory of them, that which remains cannot be removed, and it is always here. The invitation is to find that, to discover that. And it is not hidden and it's not hiding, but it appears hidden because we are living inside a mask that we take to be real. And your coming here is already an auspicious sign that that masking concept is removable. That masking identity is removable. It's like if you imagine there's a great book, a great fiction, with all these characters in there, every kind of character is in this book. Do you think that, you imagine that these characters are planning a secret meeting to protest against the author without the author knowing? There is an awareness in you, that awareness, in which all things are visible, but only because you wish them to be visible, actually. When you lose interest in a thing, you don't even notice it. That's one of the most crippling things that can happen in the mind, is when we lose, when it becomes insignificant for you, then you pay no attention to it. Presently, we give so much importance to our thoughts and feelings. We have to navigate through that, because some are fine and some are not. And we must exercise your present level of discernment to find the right balance in some way. I don't want to work in that way. I want to show you easy way out. But you will only find if you are ready, and I assume you're ready to come here. But I don't say that you will not have challenges. And challenges are part of the play, a part of the climate in which you will wake up. We need them also, to provide the necessary friction for the aspiration and the urge to be free of them. Hear and forget what I say, if you want. Like one becomes totally empty. I'm totally empty of even of what I'm speaking, in fact, at some place. Something comes to zero without fear, and in the zero there is no fear. Yet there is a dynamic body and senses. I've not thrown them away. I've not said, oh, my senses are not important. I've got family. And things that we do, they still happen. I've not found, why did these things keep coming anymore? Sometimes, yeah. But a deeper understanding knows that, yeah, it has to come and we move. But everything is moving inside the unmoving. Every happening is a blip inside the immensity of the non-happening. And there's no conflict, there's no contradiction, there's no opposition. One side is your dynamic play, the dynamic, in which the consciousness is there too. The nirguna is in the sargun. It's all there. And you think, well, either one or, no. One is unchanging and one other one is bound in time and in change. As long as the vital force, the breath and the body and consciousness is there, there'll be a sense of maturing. In the immensity of the unchanging at the same time. This is a kind of paradox. Maybe I'm not saying the right words right now, I don't know. You listen to invitation in the morning? Somebody speak from this place. Speak from this what you discovered. As what you discovered, has it gone? Has it faded? But then we say, but the mind is still there. The mind is there, here and there, come and go. That which you discovered, has that come and gone? Just be there. Then the mind come and go, that doesn't matter, mind come and go. Put more attention on that which doesn't come and go, and the comings and goings will not become so important to you. They become natural, you deal with it. We could finish right there. We could finish right there if you would accept it. Suppose this voice here selling was found to be, oh, I wish he would stop. Oh my God. Like this, no? So because you wish it would stop, it starts to disturb you even more. Okay? And then what happened? And then what happened now is, oh my God, like I was really listening to Mooji, and then this guy, I said, wow. And we disturb ourselves like that all the time. But when you recognize that all of this is arising in the silence, then you're not troubled by it. You're not troubled by it. You believe in yourself personally. We believed out of habit in ourself personally. And because of that, it appears to eclipse the immensity of the impersonal. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Someone here, someone here, someone here. Stand. Okay, the one who stands, come.
Namaste.
Namaste.
When you talk about this observer and the observed, for me, this state of consciousness, which I see this knowing together, because con is like a togetherness. So it's knowing together. So for me, it's always like a condition to an interaction, this state of consciousness. But what
Could you say that again?
Like the state of consciousness where we aim to stand, because it's more beautiful to stand from there and not from the identified self, which give us this freedom as well. But then I feel that even in this state, it's conditioned to an interaction, the observer to the observed. And
who told you ever to observe the observer?
but it happens. It's
No.
like
No. Until you are conscious of it, it's not your experience. It is not your experience. You see, I say you are the self, but sometimes people say, yeah, but I'm still trying to get there. So I see that there's something that makes us feel that we're not the self yet, okay? And we try to point that out also. And we are just becoming aware, like I'm not teaching anything so new, I'm just pointing out where we are living with all these blocks that we think are actually steps to go somewhere. But if you pay attention to the one who is intending to go to steps, you'll find that maybe that this one is just fine as it is.
Yeah, my question is if there is this other state where there is no observer-server, but sort of like a revelation state, just this knowing state, which is not, that is observing something, but just existing,
Yes.
and then it can be brought here, and how would that
Brought from by
experience-
where? By how?
I don't know, just like
That
how can
alone,
we
that
embody-
alone, that alone is the limitless one. That alone is a limitless state. That is not, I mean, it causes the play of appearances and the perceiving of them. It's the cause, root cause of them. It is not doing it directly, but because it is, these things can be. Yeah, that is the natural state.
And how can it be described to be lived in the human state, that limitless state?
How can it be described as being lived inside the human state? You're always this, even all our seeming limitations and stuff is only appearing because this is first. It's just like if you did not have a body, you could not act and do things. In the same way, you could not be if there was no awareness. Awareness is the source. Out of awareness sprouts the sense of being or consciousness and the activities of consciousness. It is the most natural. It's not a doing. It is. We are that, and at the same time we are experiencing in a body, because from that absolute place, the earliest message or energy arising from that is that vibration which announces itself with the body that says, I am, I exist. And this I exist denotes consciousness, the dynamic consciousness. That which causes the perceiving, the seeing, the playing, the knowing, the doing, the tasting, all of that, that knowingness state arises out of the Absolute. I sometimes refer to it as the child of the Absolute. This Saguna, if you know Saguna expression, is the dynamic aspect of the unchanging Nirgun. You understand what I mean by this?
Yes. It's just sometimes I believe in me, this terms of the consciousness and awareness is kind of gets mixed up. And
I am just describing it now. If I talk about, even if I use the word amongst words that are available to us, like say if I in the English language, I can more call it something like the nothingness or the emptiness more than the somethingness. And if I say awareness, pure awareness, because sometimes we speak awareness of something. When you speak awareness of, I'm more likely to call that consciousness. The consciousness being the dynamic aspect, the Saguna expression of the Nirgun, which is the unchanging, the non-dynamic. And that is not an aspect. I wouldn't regard it as an aspect, you see. It is the totality. But somehow it manifests into name and form and time and space and change and action in that field which you call Saguna Brahman. I'm sorry if you don't know these terms, I will explain them another moment. But it's a very simple, just like there's a silence in you, an unchangingness in you, and there's a dynamic activity of thought and feelings and movement and so on. And you can say you're both. The movement is always changeful and it's never totally stable, but is watched from something that is totally stable, or it's known without watching, it's just perceived.
thank you very much.
Okay. Take one more, come.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste. You say we need to remove our mask. Could you please allow me to remove my mask first?
This one or the one behind? This one or the one behind?
Yeah, this one.
Yes, you can do.
Okay. Thank you, Ji.
Yeah.
I'm from China. I'm so happy to hear.
Yes.
To listen your course, listen your lecture. You know there's a very serious disease we called new coronavirus in China. And you know most of Chinese people they suffering from this kind of this disease, and they have too much fear about die. So in this situation, when we suffering from like earthquake or other kind of this serious disease, communication disease, what we can do? Because the fear is the human nature.
Yes.
So what we can?
The fear is greater than the actuality. And but the fear is good to really widen the consciousness, that because everyone who comes to know about it stand a chance of evolving because of this fear also. You see? It's not that, so we should relax because the cases will be tiny. The fear is global, or is international, or is all over China, but those who will be affected are not so many, but the fear is widespread,
Yes.
more than the virus. It's the same way. In our culture, the ignorance is widespread. And yet, at the same time, what we're ignorant about is all-pervading. What we are ignorant of is everywhere present. It pervades and permeates all the ones who experiences ignorance. In a sense, you can experience ignorance, but you cannot experience the truth. You cannot experience the self. The self is not an experience that a you can have. You are the experience of the self. And because of that, you say you experience other things. When I gave an example of a knife that can cut many things, but it cannot cut itself, because it is one. Or I gave example of a scale that can weigh so many objects, but it cannot weigh itself. Or the eyes that can see so many forms, but they cannot see themselves. And what is the purpose of that? It's the same with you. You, being yourself, cannot see yourself. You may see an idea you have of yourself, but yourself you cannot see, you can only be. And you are already. But this is difficult to accept when we have embraced the body-mind as our self, and then we think that our true self is somewhere to be found. This is why I say that St. Francis of Assisi saying, what you are searching for is already the place you are starting to search from. And I say that even the idea, the self is already here, and then the idea comes from an idea we have of ourselves, which is not true, that I, the seeker, must find the self, is already known in the self and perceived in the self. But how can you accept that? You can. Sometimes just a switch, something goes, whoa. For some people they see, and others they think, this is too much, it's too much riddling. My mind just cannot do that. So I'm not asking your mind to do anything at all. Whatever it is that appears in your mind, so to speak, what you call your mind or feelings or thought, everything is spontaneously seen in you. But you're not aware, because we are calling ourselves something else. And you think that something else that you're calling yourself is going to find the real you, which is somewhere else. And all the time you're here. It was a joke. I don't want to call it joke because most people like you, you don't find it funny. You see? Because it's not like ha 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 ha, like we don't get it. You are that in which the search to find who you are is being perceived at the same time. I have to speak like this today. Sometimes I go fishing, don't catch any fish. And sometimes, but they know my bait. So next time I throw, maybe, oh, many come. Oh, it takes too much. I have to use net to catch one by one too slow. Everything together. This satsang is like a net. I'm trying to throw a net because all these fishes are awake, dreaming. They are in sea of samsara. And don't take like today, maybe it feels like it's still confused. It's okay that it feels confusing. What I can tell you, even that you're feeling confused right now, there is still grace working underneath you right now. The fire is lit, doesn't matter. You're in God's minestrone. You are there. We're cooking. You're thinking, no, it's not very warm in here. I don't feel like I'm cooked. Grace is working through all of this. Don't look to your feelings and your thought or your mind is behaving like that. That doesn't mean nothing. Soon all of this will become very small. That in which even silence is perceived. But itself is not perceived phenomenally, that you are. That in which even our doubts and restlessness and anxieties manifest sporadically and momentarily and are perceived, but itself cannot be touched with a finger. That is yourself. But whatever ideas we are holding on to, with our present idea and identity, that you feel loyal to some identity or some ideas, that will make your receptivity a little bit more heavy. Grace is working on that also, to thin it open. You ask how I can remove the mask. You are aware of mask and you remove mask. How can you remove the mask of personhood? You don't have to take your face off. How are you going to remove the mask of personhood? By understanding it is only a phenomenon believed in, and that both the mask and the belief in it and the believer in it are phenomenal, and that is seen. That in which it is seen, that is the self. It is not 1 micromillimeter away from you. You being who? The self. Something is going to happen in this place, I don't know, soon. You are going to hatch open. And not as a chick. You have to hatch. It's not something you are going to do, but it will be experienced in you, your true nature. You know? In fact, every day while the invitation is being played, it's something is knocking on your heart from inside. But your mind is going, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting closer. And the conviction of the one who is the journeyer to truth, the conviction is taken to be, that's what's happening. And one moment you will see that even that journeyer also is an idea in you, the one beyond all ideas. That is the ultimate truth. That is the ultimate truth. That is not a sectarian truth. That is an ultimate truth. Beyond all conditions, it is that. The truth cannot be an object, because if it is an object, then we will have very different subjective responses to it. You see, in the dynamic realm, in the duality realm, it's as though we, the pure self, has taken on a secondary subjectivity, like as a person, this person, which is a mode of consciousness, is behaving like a subjective self and the objective world. Then the subject is me and the world. I'm the subject, the world is the object, no, of perception. But in the true seeing, this pseudo-subject and its objective world are all phenomenal, all appearances. I'm not counting that you will see that immediately. What I'm speaking, I endeavor to prove it, but you will be the proof of it. I don't want to prove it to you and then you forget it. You cannot forget. That's why I say, you think you forget yourself. So the forgetting of yourself is itself a delusion, because you are yourself, believing you are something else created through the mind, that's all. That has to end. If it was up to me, that will end. That you will see. And it's not that we're going to vanish and the police will be looking for you all over the world. They vanish in this Swatanchananda ashram, nobody has seen them. No. You vanish as the wrong idea about yourself. Inside, outside, you have a number. Inside, you're zero. Outside, yeah, what is your date of birth? 27th of... Inside, nothing. And that nothing might sound scary to the mind, but it is the totality of all that appears and disappears and beyond all of that. I don't want to speak too much about it because the mind takes all of it and wants to turn it into some strangeness, Hollywood movie or something. But here it is the most simple, the most happy and peaceful and universal in your perceiving. The self is not Chinese, not European, not African, not West Indian, not none of these things. This is our farm, for now. The formless is moving inside the farm for a while. For its own joy. It's not a prison, it's for its own joy. And different layers of joy. Good for now. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Okay. I read something a little bit, I think. Today, I'll read something maybe from Avadut, from the Avadutta Gita. I've read before from Ashtavakra Gita. Today I read few words from the Avadutta Gita. I'm not going to start at the beginning because it doesn't matter. The Avadut say, in me, there is no impurity such as attachment. There is no bodily pain for me. Understand that I am the self. I am unity itself. I am vast as space, like the sky above. The Avadut is not speaking about a personal self. Avadut is speaking on behalf of all the selves. When they come to their realization, oh mind, my friend, what is the good of so much speaking? Oh mind, my friend, all of this has been made quite clear. I have told you what I know to be true. You are the ultimate reality. You are unbound like space. Speak of your source. All that emanates is speaking the source. Because whatever appears can be many and diverse, but it's always on the move. Nothing is stable, nothing is reliable. So the Avadut is one that has gone to the source, speaking from the source. Where is the source? You are also the source. It doesn't matter where a yogi may die. It doesn't matter how he may die. He becomes absorbed in the Absolute. As the space within a jar becomes absorbed in the outer space when the jar is broken. Whether he dies, a holy person, an awakened being, whether he dies near a holy river or in the house of an outcast, whether he is conscious or unconscious at his death, he merges into freedom, into unity alone. All duties, wealth, enjoyments, liberation, all people and objects in the world as well, everything in the eyes of the awakened one is like the illusory water in a desert mirage. There is no action, either present, future, or past, which has been performed or enjoyed by me. This I know without any doubt, meaning that which is not participating in any ritual, nothing at all. It always is. It causes all things to appear and to shine. The Avadut, the awakened one, lives alone in an empty hut. With a pure, even mind, he is always content. He moves about naked and free, aware that all this is only the self. All this dance is only the one self. Again, the Avadut lives alone in an empty hut. You can take that to be a building or this body even. With a pure, even mind, he is always content. He moves about naked and free, meaning not possessing anything and free. Maybe there are things he's not possessing nor being possessed by them, not seeing fault in anything moving, just within the purity of his own being. Where neither the third state of deep sleep nor the fourth state of samadhi exists, where everything is experienced as the self alone, where neither righteousness nor unrighteousness exists, could bondage or liberation be living there in this place even? Just another few words, I might think. The self appears as both the animate and the inanimate world, yet it always remains in its own peaceful state. It is always pure consciousness, as calm as the infinite sky. Very good. Sometimes I find that a satsang take place and so much has to be said, and it's important that while speaking, maybe immediately there is a struggle to absorb, but it is okay. You're being present here, even if the mind doesn't matter at all. Leave it all to God, leave it all to grace. Everything is being taken care of. At a certain point, waves of illumination will flood your being. So don't pay attention if at the moment it feels, oh, my head is so tight, I just couldn't get. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
युगाना युगाना हम योगी अवधूता युगाना युगाना हम योगी हाँ योगी 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 युगाना युगाना हम योगी आवे ना जाए आवे ना जाए मिटे ना कब सबद अनाहत भोगे अवधूता युगाना युगाना हम योगी हाँ योगी सब ठोर जमात हमारी जमात हमारी सब ठोर पर मिला हाँ मिला रूप स्वरूप रूप स्वरूप अरूप दिखा के हम ही में हम तो खेले अवधूता युगाना युगाना हम योगी हाँ योगी कहे कबीरा जी सुनो भाई साधो सुनो भाई साधो नाहीन कोई इच्छा हाँ इच्छा अपनी मढ़ी में अपनी मढ़ी में आप ही डोलूं डोलूं खेलूं सहज स्वेच्छा अवधूता युगाना युगाना हम योगी हाँ योगी युगाना युगाना हम योगी हाँ योगी युगाना युगाना हम योगी
Thank you.
You're leaving today?
I was by accident at your satsang.
Ah.
And now I feel I'm very glad to meet you. That's a hard
Yeah. Oh. Bye, darling. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.